Um, in a game where you win 3 of the quarters and you play well to the ending buzzer, you understand that this becomes a very tough, difficult loss for yourself and more importantly for your players. This one's a tough one. We had been 11-1 at home, and now we're 11-2, and we found a way to fight and show great character tonight. But 16 turnovers is, with 4 of them being incredibly uncharacteristic, where we literally just threw the ball out of bounds. That's 4 possessions in a game that's a 1-possession game, and most of the games in the Atlantic 10 are going to be 1-possession games, and I have no answer for that. I thought Precious's step-through move was the game. That would probably have sealed the game right there, and I'm incredibly disappointed in that play, and I'll leave it at that. So we're sitting here. Go ahead, guys.
In that second quarter, you guys fell down to you fell behind 10 points. What were you talking in halftime to make sure your players got back defensively and just corrected some of those mistakes in the second quarter?
Well, it was more of a situation where we couldn't score the ball. It was 26-11 in the second quarter, and it certainly was defense too, not being able to stop them. But it starts with your offense. When you take long shots that don't go in, you don't make a great effort to go offensive rebound, and they're able to get out and transition early. And they're a team that's going to pick on you when you have a smaller defender, and they were able to do that. They made 11 threes, which is more than they've averaged per game throughout the season. And like a kid like 33, Ellie, I can't say her last name, I apologize. She was 0 for 13 in the Atlantic 10 play, and tonight she was 2 for 3. And 14, hitting 3 of 8. It felt like she was 6 of 8, and a lot of her damage was done in that second quarter. I thought we could have guarded 14 more appropriately and understood how to guard her. I'll put that on myself, that we didn't do that well enough. And when you shoot 27% in the second quarter, and I think we had 2 or 3 of our turnovers happen in that period, it really deflated you. And to only be down 10 going into halftime, I actually felt pretty good because we were going to come out in the third quarter and be in front of our own bench. And I knew that what I had seen is that once we were able to get dribble penetration and attack, we were going to have some success. If we held the ball or walked the ball up or pulled the ball out and tried to run a set, we were not going to have as much success. And so we needed to play in transition, and we did that in the third and fourth, but came up a bucket short today.
What can you say about Tess Meyer's performance, but especially late in that fourth quarter? It seemed like everything she was shooting was just going to go in, and especially that last shot was just pretty incredible.
The last shot was pretty incredible because it's a game winner, and she was clearly fouled on it, and there's no question about it. It was a game winner, and we need to make a free throw. We need to make free throws. We can't go to the line and be 1 for 2, 2 for 3. We were 12 of 18 from the free throw line. When you get into conference, you have to make free throws at a higher percentage than what we're doing. We've got to be better free throw shooters. That didn't happen. We didn't play a great basketball game, and we were still, we were a bucket away, but we didn't play well, in my eyes, in a lot of fashion. A lot of things that we did not play well, and so to not play well and have a chance to win it at the end is great, but it's still a loss. It's still a loss. But we didn't play well because we didn't practice real well. We haven't practiced real well in a while, and you were able to come out and blitz St. Louis and get a victory, hang on for a victory there, but we haven't practiced real well in a couple of days, and we've got to we've shortened our practices so our kids are not so legs tired, and I didn't think we saw that tonight. You know, I felt like I called the appropriate timeouts, but you know, we've got to be a little bit better in practice, and that'll help us be better in games.
Yeah, you talk about practice. I mean, you guys are 3-4 in the A10 right now, I believe, and it seems like you guys lose a game, win a game. It just seems like trying to build that consistency has been a bit tough for you this season. Do you think that if practice improves, your team will get to that consistency that you want and get back to higher up in the A10 standings?
Well, you know, it's been a win-loss kind of thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Some of those have been on the road. Some of those have been against the top team in the league. And what you found is that, you know, we go to St. Louis, who's leading the league, and you know, we don't shoot it well early, and we figure it out, and we take a lead with 3 minutes, but can't hold on. I feel like we had a really good game plan for the Fordham game, and they blitzed us in the fourth, and blitzed us. And what was a very close game where we had a lead in the third quarter, you know, just it got out, you know, we lost. The Mason game is the one that is disappointing. We didn't perform well. I think with our kids, it's not from a lack of trying. Our practices have been poor because their legs are tired, and academically their minds are tired because they have very difficult majors. So we've got to shorten those practices, and we've got to be dialed into exactly what we need to cover to beat teams. And I felt like we had done enough of that to beat Davidson, but our play indicated that we didn't. And we have to go back, and we have to be razor sharp in understanding the scout. And I think that we can do better there. And that'll be an area that'll be addressed tomorrow.
You mentioned Ellie earlier.
Sutphin, I think?
Yes,
I'm not sure.
I wasn't exactly sure either.
Yeah.
But coming into this game, she was tied for fourth in the A10 in terms of points per game. Was there maybe a specific game plan when it came to guarding her tonight?
Yeah, but I don't want to tell you. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want to tell you because I want them to have to figure it out on film because we're going to see them again. What we did do, we felt like we did a fairly good job on a good player. You know, she still shot a little higher percentage than what we would like, but you know, we made her turn it over 4 times. I haven't watched the film yet to see, you know, if we fouled her and we bailed her out on at 2.3 seconds. I'd be very curious to watch that play again. But she's a very good basketball player.
You held Izzy Morgan to 4 points in the second half. In the first half, she had 16. So going into the half, did you change the game plan when it came to guarding her?
Yeah, we did some things differently in terms of how we were defending ball screens, and yeah, that's a part where we have to be better at. They set very wide screens, and they roll on you a little bit, and that's advantage them if we don't fight to get over and create so much contact that the referee has to blow the whistle, or under, where we create so much contact where they're rolling on you, that's supposed to be a foul. But we didn't do that. We just kind of let them roll on us, and we were soft, whether we were going under or going over, and we needed to be more physical there. So that's something that we'll have to address. But in regards to 44, the difference was, you know, we didn't expect her to do that, and you know, she played really well. She made some big shots, and you know, again, mental breakdowns on our end, and you have to give the kid credit. She had a good half. She had a very good half, and you're going to have that. You know, they're Division I athletes. They're getting scholarships just like our guys are, just like UConn is, just like South Carolina, and she played a good half of basketball.
In the second half for Davidson, it was Maddie Flank who was sort of on fire there for a little bit. Just what do you have to say about Davidson's ability to find open players for 3?
You know, they play a lot of 5 out, and you know, with 14, she's left-handed and she wants to go left, and we did not force her to the right nearly enough. We needed to sit on that left hand and make her put it in her right hand more. And she made multiple threes with us closing out, jumping in the air, that are tough threes, and she knocked them down today. You know, sometimes that's going to happen. You know, we hit a couple like that also, but today that kid made her shots.
Yanni brings a certain level of physicality in the paint, but there were many times today where she fell really hard to the ground when she was trying to draw fouls. So do you have any concerns about that, especially in this specific game where Precious went down with an injury for a little bit?
We got hit when we were in the post. Not every time, but a lot of times I felt like there was contact that should be deemed a foul. I'm not getting fined, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Towards the end of the game, the crowd was really getting into it. So with a crowd as loud as this one was, just how much does it sort of boost your confidence in terms of like morale and confidence in battling back in a game?
Well, I think people come to Duquesne women's basketball games and they know that we have outstanding young women that are great role models for their sons and daughters, especially our youth that come. And our kids are really accessible to our fans, and I think that they know that our kids give their everything that they have, and they lay it out on the line. And the crowd was great tonight. They were really loud. They were really boisterous. I would say that to have crowds like that come back, you got to win. You got to win tough ones. And tonight we fell a little bit short. We've got a tough game at Dayton, where it's always tough to play later this week, and then we come back here and we play UMass, who's a very difficult opponent. And I'm sure there'll be a nice crowd for that next home game against UMass.
Well, this game certainly was tough, but just the ability to battle back, what do you think that says specifically about Duquesne's grit?
It's interesting. Basketball is a game of runs, and sometimes the runs for us have been early against St. Louis and Bonaventure and some other games earlier in the year. We're not playing a lot of people, so it's sometimes late in the game, like example St. Louis, where we're hanging on because our kids are exhausted. But basketball is a game of runs, and that second quarter, Davidson made a run that we didn't answer, and we turned the ball over with uncharacteristic turnovers, and we missed shots that were open shots. And sometimes you got to knock those. Not sometimes, you got to knock those down if you want to win the game. For us to have success, I've said it over and over. We've got to get some of our younger people some minutes, and we've got to get them healthy so that they can give us some minutes. And tonight we played with a pretty short bench. We played 8, but we really only played 7. And we've got not a lot of people that can help us off the bench because of injury. And so, when you have to play those 7 and you're trying to get that 8th and that 9th kid prepared so that, they can give you a couple minutes and help us. And right now, just their health, I don't think that's something that they can do right now.
And then lastly, earlier you mentioned that you haven't practiced in a while. Just how do you fix that before a big game against Dayton coming up?
The words I use, we didn't practice well, can be misconstrued, and I don't want it to be negative. I would call it more a situation of we had focus, but our bodies and our minds were very tired from the things that I had mentioned. We had dead legs, and then we, mentally, we've really not had many days off. And you could say, oh, they're college kids. These kids work really, really hard, whether it's basketball or academics, and they need some time. So we shortened the practices. We'll make some decisions about what we're going to do tomorrow, but Tuesday will be a very dialed-in, focused group of young women, understanding how we have to defend Dayton again, and how we have to have success, and what things we need to change to have greater success against Dayton, because that was another game where we went out with a big lead and hung on at the end. And so, we'll be prepared when we play Dayton on Wednesday. And that's from a scout perspective, that's from a coach perspective, and it's important in my role to make sure that our players are prepared from a mental and physical standpoint. And I haven't addressed that yet with my staff to figure out what's the best way going forward with tomorrow and how our bodies feel. And so I'll address that when I go out and I talk with our training staff and our coaching staff. Thank you. Appreciate you all supporting.